I'm actually manipulative and toxic, although I pretend to be innocent. I've been doing it since I was 8. That's when I figured out that crying in front of my mom got me out of punishment. Smiling at teachers made them forget about my missing homework. Playing dumb convinced other kids to do my group projects while I got the credit. By middle school, I had perfected the system. I knew exactly what each person wanted to hear. My friends thought I was their pure-hearted angel who always knew how to cheer them up. What they didn't know was that I found them exhausting. Every time someone came to me crying about their problems, I wanted to scream, but I'd put on my concerned face, rub their back, and say all the right things. In high school, I became untouchable. I had this friend group of 6 girls who worshipped me. They called me their cinnamon roll because I was so sweet and innocent. I'd ghost them for weeks whenever I got bored, then come back with some elaborate story about family drama. They'd hug me and apologize for not checking in sooner. Teachers loved me even more. I volunteered for everything, smiled constantly, and played the role of the perfect student. When I got caught cheating on a math test sophomore year, I cried and said I was just so stressed about my parents' divorce. My math teacher actually apologized to me. My parents weren't even divorced. I felt nothing about any of it. No guilt, no shame, just this constant calculation of what would benefit me most. Then junior year, this girl transferred to our school. She was quiet, sat in the back corner, and barely spoke to anyone. Naturally, I saw an opportunity. New girl, no friends, probably desperate for someone to be nice to her. Easy target. I did my usual routine. Sat next to her at lunch, asked about her old school, offered to show her around. She just nodded and gave one-word answers. It was frustrating. My tricks weren't working. After 2 weeks of trying, I decided she wasn't worth the effort. But then something weird happened. She started watching me. Not in an obvious way, but I'd catch her staring during class. When I'd perform my innocent act with other people, I could feel her eyes on me. It made me uncomfortable in a way I'd never. One day in the library, I was putting on a show for our English teacher. I had my eyes all watery, my voice shaking. I told her my grandmother was in the hospital and I needed to skip the presentation. The teacher was buying it completely, rubbing my shoulder and telling me to take all the time I needed. That's when the new girl walked past our table. She stopped, just stood there staring at me. After the teacher left, she pulled out the chair across from me and sat down. She didn't say anything at first, just looked at me with this expression I couldn't read. Then she said 6 words that made my blood run cold. Your grandmother died last year, remember? My mind went blank. I'd used the sick grandmother excuse before, multiple times. I'd even told her about it during one of my fake trauma bonding attempts the first week she arrived. I'd completely forgotten. I tried to recover, started to say something about my other grandmother, but she just shook her head. I've been watching you for 3 months, she said quietly. The way you cry on command, how you change your personality depending on who you're talking to, how you ghost your friends and they just take you back. I know what you are. My heart was pounding. No one had ever called me out before. No one had ever seen through it. Are you going to tell people? I asked. My voice came out small and real for once. She studied my face for a long moment. No, she said finally, because I used to be just like you. And I know what it's like to lose yourself so completely that you can't find your way back. She stood up, grabbed her bag, and walked away. That was it. She didn't threaten me, didn't demand anything. She just left me sitting there with the weight of being truly seen for the first time in my life. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what she said, about losing yourself. I'd always thought I was in control, that I was playing everyone else. But lying there at 3 a.m., I realized I didn't even know who I actually was anymore. The next morning, I went to school early, hoping to find her. I needed to talk to her, to ask her how she stopped, how she found herself again, but she wasn't there. I checked her usual spots, asked around. Nobody knew where she was. I found out in the office that she'd transferred schools over the weekend. Just like that, she was gone. That was 8 months ago. I still do the manipulation sometimes. It happens automatically now, like breathing, but her words stuck with me. Every time I start to perform, I hear her voice. I know what you are. I don't know if I'll ever find my real self again, but I think about those 6 words every single day.